We all want the absolute best for our hair, so I wanted to make this video to discuss what I know and what I've learned about the hair and the scalp. And based on my experience, my opinions, what I believe could point us in the correct direction towards a solution for our scalp and, our scalp health and our hair improvement. Cutting my hair was probably one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make, and I've cut my hair a lot in my life. I've done many big chops, but this one hurt the most because my hair was so beautiful and I worked really hard and I did everything that I was supposed to do. I didn't flat iron my hair. I stopped dyeing my hair for 3 years straight, and when I did dye my hair, I did the balayage to keep it away from my scalp, and I would only do it once a year, literally. And I wouldn't straighten my hair at all. So I refrained from a lot of things, including toxic products that we thought were harming us to begin with. But it leaves me skeptical about the fact that we've never had any of these scalp issues, and we've never experienced so much discomfort the way we do now that we switch to healthier options. When I used Tresemme or Pantene or Dove, I didn't suffer from scalp issues. I didn't have any issues at all. It just happened to happen after I switched to natural brands. And we all know how important the pH balance is for our bodies, not only internally, but externally. And the pH of our scalp is extremely low. It's very acidic. And most of the products that are made have a pH balance that ranges above 5.5. Very few of them create products that range below 5.5, which is the acid which is the pH of our scalp, which is between 4.5 and 5.5. So when you add a bunch of products that contain high pH levels, and we add water to that as well from the shower, that the pH of that water is about 7 and 8. And then we add more products like the hair mask, the deep conditioner, the gel, and all these things could possibly, I'm just assuming that it could possibly throw off the pH balance of our scalp. And when we talk about parabens, sulfates, and all these things, we really don't know what the long-term effects of the use of these chemicals are on our bodies. And maybe this is it, but I still don't understand, because we changed that and we opted for healthier products that offer, better ingredients. So it doesn't make sense as to why we're experiencing this. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that many people are suffering, scalp issues and hair issues. And we've been following, the lead of whoever has the most beautiful mane, and we want to use what they use, and whatever they use, we want to try. And sometimes we get one of a certain product, another of another product, and we finish it off with, several different brands of products. We don't just stick to one product. We don't just stick to one brand. So we're dealing with many companies that, go through different approaches when it comes to dealing with the hair and dealing with, the chemicals that they add to the products, and, the certain ingredients that are considered non-harmful when used in certain quantities or a certain percentage. So we're compounding so many chemicals. I remember growing up, all I had was shampoo and conditioner from the same brand, and that's all I used. And on the weekends, I would go to the hair salon, and they would, you know, do a treatment, and they would straighten my hair. But what I want to mention is that I used to leave my hair conditioner on my scalp. I used to leave it on. I never washed off my hair conditioner. I didn't know, you know, being so young, I wasn't into the hair thing as much. And, you know, I just didn't have the money for that. So I would use products, you know, just shampoo and the conditioner. And the conditioner would be my leave-in. And I never washed it out. But for so many years, I've never had any issues. And after I did my big chop, I made the decision that I wanted to, you know, be healthy as well and do things correctly like the rest of the influencers that had that beautiful mane were doing. I figured, wow, how can I get my curls to be that beautiful and that defined? And an accident happened where I accidentally permed my hair, and I refused to be permanently stuck with straight hair. So I contacted my hairstylist and I said, this is a great opportunity. Let's chop it off. It's fine. Let's play with it in the meantime. Do a Rihanna cut. After that, I did another Rihanna pixie cut. And after that, I just like let it go and I let it grow. And while it was growing, I saw its stages, but I never felt any symptoms. So as my hair began to grow out, my curls began to define so much more. So I believe that once that attention got to me and I started to see influencers working with so many different companies, I said, why not jump on the bandwagon and do the same thing and take advantage of this opportunity? I mean, I'm pretty. At least I feel like I'm pretty, and I have nice hair. Why not, you know, market myself and get myself out there more? And I feel like this is the perspective that many women with curly hair and who are on social media have. They just want to, you know, create a platform, create an opportunity. They want to open up a door. And we think of what's the easiest way where we don't compromise our, you know, ourselves and put ourselves in embarrassing positions, or, you know, something that makes us get out of our comfort zone, which is our personalities. You know, we try to protect ourselves from being rejected from people. So I feel like that was the easiest way to get out there without being so out there. And that's using your hair. Your hair was your asset. It was speaking for you. You didn't have to do too much talking. All you had to do was talk about what products you were using. And when you want to create content, you tend to run out of content if you do not use other products. People are going to get bored. Okay, sis, on to the next. So what happens is that the pressure that influencers were facing is that they were constantly switching products all the time. One day 2 days ago, they were doing a tutorial using Diva Curl. 2 days later, they were doing a tutorial using Uidad. 2 days later, they were doing a tutorial using 3 different products in one video. So as much as I've been so upset and wanting to blame Diva Curl and wanting to blame, you know, them for the demise of my scalp and my hair, it is a difficult situation. It is difficult to say because a lot of influencers have been promoting more than one product and in 1 week, if not like literally a whole day probably. I remember doing videos back to back in one day, doing things, putting things on my hair, washing it off, doing it all over again, you know. And that wasn't always the case. Let me be clear on that. It was just moments where I just wanted to get content out. Like I said, when you're an influencer, the pressure gets real, and you know, you want to constantly have product content to put out. And without different products and without a diversity of regimens and routines, it gets boring for the viewers and people get tired. They want to see what else you got to offer. Or like sometimes people would try the product that you're recommending, and it would be not effective for them. So you would have to try something else to see if something else works for you. And if it does work for you, maybe it would work for them. So you want to promote that and you want to get more views. You get where I'm coming from. So that pressure of constantly having to promote companies, work with companies, opportunities where companies are offering you money, and opportunities where you can, do something bigger eventually, or just an experience of feeling important, feeling like you're an asset to a company, or like you're important. So that's my point here, that the use of so many diverse products probably did have an adverse effect, and it caught up, and it happened to caught up to a lot of us influencers coincidentally around the same time. And we all, when I flash back to some of us influencers, I believe we started around the same time. We started taking care of our hairs around the same time. And, some experienced it, sooner. They started making certain changes sooner than most. But, I feel like I just want to do a little rant about my speculations, my thoughts, my opinions, so that we can come to a solution, because this is very uncomfortable for me. I'm at the point where hair loss and if my curl pattern never comes back, or if my hair, just never recovers to be the way that it used to be, I'm completely fine with that. I'm not, crucified to my hair like I mentioned in my previous video. But my peace and my sanity at night, when I wake up constantly scratching my scalp, or I feel so much tingling going on, like if something is crawling on the, under my scalp, like if I have something under my scalp crawling, and like and I've tried the, because there's also, a chemical reaction that your body releases a chemical once you scratch that produces more of that certain chemical. I don't remember the name and I don't want to guess, but it releases a certain chemical that causes you to scratch even more. And then you form a feedback loop. It's kind of like a cycle where you're just constantly scratching and the body is constantly making you itch. So I've also tried to stop scratching, and it's just, maybe I haven't been consistent enough and strong enough to stop scratching and refrain from it. But it's so difficult. It's extremely difficult. The itch is unbearable. It's so uncomfortable, and it's super cringy, like super weird. So I've tried patting my head instead of scratching, but I don't know if I have any nurse followers, if it still produces the same reaction, if it's scratching or reacting to the scratch by means of a tap or rub. It does the same, it produces the same consequence. I don't know. But just to summarize everything that I've spoken about, it's just a lot of products have high pH balance. Our scalp is very low, and our hair strands are even lower in the pH balance chart. And a lot of products, I'm talking about a lot of products, are extremely high in pH. And when you combine a lot of products plus the tap water, which is already high in the pH balance, I feel like it throws off our pH. And after a while, our acidic environment, where it serves the purpose to protect us from bacteria and certain irritations, it stops performing that job. It stops protecting us. So maybe, just maybe, we have thrown our pH balance, and it has made our scalp environment extremely weak, to the point that it is sensitive to any type of chemical. Because if we take it back in time and flash back to the moments where we used products that weren't healthy, considered healthy, that had sulfates, that had parabens, that had whatever long list of terrible crap has been brought to light, we didn't experience any issues. We were getting pregnant. We were, women were getting pregnant. Women weren't experiencing nothing crazy. So I don't understand what's the big deal with these companies having these products, these chemicals in the products, if they've never been a problem for us in the past. In fact, I see that now with organic products and great companies that care about the ingredients are reducing, maybe that's a big problem. Maybe these chemicals are needed to preserve and protect the products from bacteria, from, you know, adverse effects on the skin. I don't know. That's just my guess. What else? I just feel like, you know, it's kind of hard to say, you know, and I'm at a point where it's like I have so many questions and I just want to come up with an answer. And it's very difficult. Like, my scalp is very uncomfortable. Now more than ever, even before a lot of women started coming out, I noticed something that caught my attention. And I don't like conspiracy theories because a lot of things, you know, I get it. It makes a lot of sense. But I don't like to crucify myself to conspiracy theories. But this is something that caught my attention. That before a lot of women started coming out, I was experiencing a lot of scalp symptoms. I was experiencing a lot of crap. And I was, you know, contemplating on speaking up about it because I'm very transparent. I try to be as much as I can, and I try to keep it as real as possible, even if that means I'm gonna end up looking bad. And that was a situation where I felt like I was gonna end up looking bad because I was promoting products, and, you know, kind of was embarrassing to come out like, oh, I didn't really know what I was doing and I made a mistake and I'm suffering right now and I don't know what to do. But when I was feeling these symptoms and I was noticing that nobody was speaking up about it, and I was being very, very aware of other girls' hairs, like, I'm very observant. And I started to observe a lot of influencers, and I started to see their hair taking a certain shift that just wasn't like their hair. And it was the same visual details of my own hair and the things that I was experiencing. And I was like, oh, I get it. They don't want to speak up either. They're afraid to speak up, but they know what they're feeling. And it's kind of like, you don't really know. This is a situation that makes you feel like, oh my God, what could it be? Then you start researching, and it could be seborrheic dermatitis, it could be folliculitis, it could be alopecia, it could be psoriasis, it could be contact dermatitis, it could be anything. It could be a long list of things. It could be stress, it could be you know, an allergic reaction, it could be a vitamin deficiency, it could be your poor diet, it could be age, it could be anything. And it's like, that's what makes it so hard to blame a company, because there's so many factors that come into play when coming up to a conclusion on what caused the problem. So I was in that phase where I just didn't know what the problem was, and I was resorting to whatever was over the counter, because the doctors would misdiagnose me and would constantly be, you know, speculating that I was having you know, a psychosis thing, where it was just like I was paranoid about everything, because at the time I was having so many symptoms around my body that I was just like, what's going on? Like, you know, this is bothering me, then I would go another week, like, this is bothering me, then I would go another day and this is bothering me. And the doctor was like, did you go through something when you were a little girl? Because you're showing signs of an overly paranoid person, and your lab work is fine, everything is completely fine, everything that you need to get off the internet, because you're coming up with diagnoses that aren't real, and you might end up, you know, bringing these things to life, because the mind is very powerful. And, you know, we have the hypothalamus and we have the pineal gland, and these things are constantly taking input and information from your body, and your thoughts play a vital role in that. And the last thing you want to do is manifest something into your body that you do not want. And right now, look at your paperwork, look at everything is fine. So like I was saying, I stopped going to the doctors because I didn't want to hear that everything was fine, because I didn't feel fine. And I knew that I wasn't, you know, going through psychosis. I wasn't going through, like, whatever a medical term you want to call that. I wasn't going through no mental health issues. And I've always been the type that's been very proud of my health and very cocky of the fact that I don't have allergies. I've never had any crazy symptoms growing up. I didn't have any issues or health issues growing up. You know, it's just a lot of things came into play at such a, like, it's just all piled up on me. And, you know, it was during a time where I've stressed so much more than I've ever stressed, that I've stressed in the past more than I've ever stressed. And that little period where I started feeling all these symptoms, I stressed in the past, like before that period, I've had so much more stressful events, many years prior, that do not compare to that tiny amount of stress that I was experiencing during that little phase of my symptoms. So I refused to accept a medical dismiss. Like, he was dismissing me like I was crazy, but I wasn't, because I'm the last person to complain about things, and I was really experiencing symptoms. So I felt hopeless, and I didn't feel like going through the hassle of finding another doctor, going through second opinions at the time, even though I did later on, and it was a complete waste of time. I resorted to going to the drugstore and looking for over-the-counter solutions based on research that I was doing online. And I'm sorry for making this long, but back to the point that I was originally trying to make, is that I came across an astonishing, observation. And that observation was that there was a lot of scalp issue products on the shelf that I've never seen before. So with that being said, I kind of got a little conspiracy theory going on that I just feel like it can't be a coincidence that now more than ever, there's a lot of scalp issue products on the shelf, even before people started speaking up about it. So I feel like maybe there's a big monopoly game being played and they're all in on it. But that's just a conspiracy theory. Another thing is that a couple years before, I would say a year before people started coming out, it was being rumored that the the beauty industry, the hair product industry, was predicted to reach $6 billion by the end of 2020. So that prediction kind of like, I see what's going on here. But then again, I don't know, because my good side of the brain, like my little angel, tells me, why would a company want to scare their customers away? Why wouldn't they want to create products that keeps them coming back? So I don't know. I don't know what's the big picture. I don't know what's behind the scenes. I don't know if the same companies, the same people that own the problematic companies are in business with the people that are trying to be the solution company, and they're in business and doing some type of scheme. I don't know what's going on, but based on the things that I know, I'm just sharing with you guys as far as the pH balance, the pH balance of most products, the fact that many influencers have been using a diversity of many products in a very small time frame for the sake of content creation and for the sake of engagement with their client, with their watchers and their viewers and the people that want recommendations. So we've been kind of like grab lats, and we've allowed that on ourselves by putting ourselves in a position to be using all these products and experimenting and trying to find the best things. I feel like it's like greed. You got beautiful hair, something is working for you. What more do you want? You want more? Keep getting more. At some point, you're gonna hit a crash, and greed is going to give you a lesson. And that's pretty much what has happened with many of us. But we don't know the actual truth. We don't know the actual facts. It's speculation. And the truth of the matter is that so many things could be playing a role here. I ordered a pH testing kit where it's a digital one. I put it, it was when I was really bald. I had no hair. I put it against my scalp, and I noticed that my pH was higher than the actual balance that was supposed to be on the scalp. So the pH, I would put it in different areas of my scalp, and I would get different readings in different areas of my scalp, which meant that it just wasn't balanced. It was just, and it's exactly how I feel. I feel like certain areas are strong and healthy and the curls are good. Certain areas are really weak and frail and weak and just thinning and like trying so hard to survive. And you know, and it's not consistent in every area of my scalp. It's like here it itches all the time, here it itches all the time, here is good, but this side is very itchy all the time and it's thinning. Back here is itchy all the time. And it's like when I was bald, I saw the light spots, the light areas where obviously where the issue was happening. So that's another information that I could provide, is that the pH was a little higher. So I went on a website, the link is down below, where this company tested over 250 hair products that and provided the pH level. Like they literally took their time to test each product, and the article is such a good read that it raised like so many red flags for me. And it, you know, but it's like, how can I tackle this problem? Like I feel like, you know, it's so many things that go into a scalp, and it's like I never really noticed it now until now that my scalp is so thrown off. Because another thing is that I want to find something that works, but in the process of finding something that works, my scalp is suffering, my scalp is weak. And you know, I also need its own natural oils and its own natural healing benefits from the sebum, and you know, its own natural, you know, oils. And trying to find something and trying to regulate our, you know, our scalp health is so difficult, you know, to do so while also embracing its own natural capabilities. So it's like, I don't know how to go about it. If my pH is thrown off, if my vitamin deficiency is too low, I don't know, because I keep trying things and I really just don't have a precise answer on what to do. And it's like we're back at square one, where influencers are back at recommending things that they think is working for them, but then others are saying this is making it even worse. And it's like, we're what are we doing? What are we doing? So I recommend my true professionals, I'm talking about nurses, my intelligent nurses that, you know, took the time to hear this video and know how the body and the pH of the body works. What do you get from this video? What is your, you know, theory? Or dermatologists, if I have any followers that are dermatologists, or anybody that is a dermatologist views this video, please let me know what you think and what your assumption is based on everything that I said, from the pH balance to the constant use of the diverse products and chemicals in the products, from, you know, I forgot, but you know what I mean. Comment down below, tell me what you think. I'm sorry for the shakiness of the camera. I'm recording on my phone and it makes it very hard to keep my hand still for you guys, but I'm very happy to share this video with you guys. I hope that we come to a solution, because this is extremely uncomfortable. My hair is not even a point anymore. It's just my scalp being so irritated, so itchy, and so uncomfortable. I know that so many of you are feeling the same things, and I promise you, we just need to have faith and we need to brainstorm together. God bless you guys, sending you so much positive energy, so much vibes, so much good vibes. God bless. Take care.